One of that was my debit card information. After I got hacked, the steps I took were immediate. I changed my password. I contacted the service providers. I did change my debit card. It is reassuring to have a new debit card which is more safe and more secure. And I also set up a new Wi-Fi system so that the default password and the name can be changed. You shouldn't share your devices with other people.
Cu viața ta și să-ți faci părinții mândri. Așa că dai la o facultate, de la o universitate, dar brusc lucrurile devin ciudate. Poate ai dat la economie, primul curs, microeconomie. De ce micro? Te fac ăștia oare sărac? Tu vrei macroeconomie, gigaeconomie, toate economiile. Sau poate ai dat la drept, primul curs, drept roman. Dar tu ești pe jumătate dac și nu știi latină. Sau poate ceva mai ușor, educație fizică și sport. Dar nu e mai ușor. E la fel ca orice facultate, cu mai mult sport și fără scutire. Dar așa e la facultate. Nu înțelegi acum, poate înțelegi mai încolo. Tot nu înțelegi. Ei totul așa cum e. Ore întregi de învățat, dai pagina cifre, pagină cifre, pagină cifre. Oare ce rimează cu portocală? Încerci să te concentrezi, trece anul 1, ești în anul 2, îți faci o prietenă, te desparți de ea, suferi, îți trece, nu-ți mai faci prietenă niciodată, îți spui tu. Ești în anul 3, ai prietenă. Și licență. Termin facultatea, visul poate să înceapă. Visul este un birou prea aglomerat lângă o stație de metrou și mai aglomerată. Nu cum ți-ai fi dorit să se întâmple. Sau te înscrii la facultatea care ți se potrivește de la Universitatea Română-Americană și ai parte și de ceva în plus. Pe lângă învățat, devii și membru al Centrului de Studii Asiatice. Poate nu ții notițele în japoneză, dar descoperi extra chestii pe care nu le știai. Și chiar dacă nu-ți place să zbori, faci un internship la IATA. Sau descoperi că îți place programarea și participi la RAW DevHack. Și realizezi că primul pas către o carieră de succes sunt internshipurile la companiile de succes. Și cumva îți faci timp și devii pivot în echipa de basket. Așa afli că în viață poți să primești câteva coate în coaste și tot să câștigi, mai ales dacă ai o echipă bună. Anii trec, dai licența, termini facultatea și reușești. Pentru că orice facultate îți oferă o șansă, dar Universitatea Română-Americană îți oferă mai mult.
Media Uno Media Group and the Romanian National Institute of Statistics are organizing, during 1 to 12 November 2021, in Bucharest and online, the conference Building the Post-Pandemic World, the Path to a More Sustainable, Resilient and Safe Society. Be part of the action and join the almost 500 speakers from 20 countries who will focus on discussions and exchange of experience for building the post-pandemic life.
INCDT Comodi is Romania's unique R&D institute for gas turbines, dedicated to aerospace with application in the energy field. With more than 20 years of scientific proficiency, the Institute specializes in scientific research, design, testing, and production of innovative and sustainable equipment, such as aviation gas turbines, high-speed bladed machinery, and compressing equipment for natural gas market, focusing on consumption reduction and environmental protection. Working in accordance with a certified quality assurance system, Comodi proves its local and international proficiency through a significant number of international awards, involvement in high enterprise European framework programs, and numerous partnerships with companies such as Safran Group, MT Aerospace, Pratt & Whitney, Onera, DLR, GHH Rand, Man Diesel, and Turbo. The Institute seeks for new partners in the aerospace field, energy market focusing on gas extraction and transportation, and machine engineering industry. Comodi Institute, experienced partner for innovative and reliable solutions.
Pentru ca totul să se anime, este nevoie de suflet sau de energie. Noi am ales să transportăm țițeiul la rafinării, sufletul pământului, să dăm României energia de a merge mai departe. Păstrăm tradiția de peste 100 de ani și privim viitorul ca pe o promisiune față de generațiile următoare. Conpet, tradiție, suflet, energie.
Împreună, punem binele în lumină. Când pornim la drum fără să-l poluăm, sau când păstrăm confortul de acasă cu o soluție de încălzire care luptă cu încălzirea globală, când ne luăm energia doar de la apă, vânt și soare, sau când ne redescoperim țara prin turism verde, pe drumul care unește. Cu fiecare alegere mică avem grijă de casa noastră mai mare. Iar noi îți aducem soluții inovatoare de energie pentru un viitor nelimitat de verde. Susținut deja de peste 3 milioane de clienți. E.ON. Ne străduim să-ți fie bine.
Transgaz, o companie responsabilă, o companie a viitorului.
Da, de la bancă, să-mi actualizez datele că altfel îmi șterg conturile? Da, numărul cardului, data de expirare, bun.
Fără să știe, Daniel a fost victima unui atac de phishing. Mailul nu era de la bancă, iar acum contul lui e gol. Banca nu cere datele cardului, studiază linkurile suspecte și nu da click, nu ceda la presiune. Intră pe siguranțaonline.ro și află cum te protejezi de fraude cibernetice. O campanie inițiată de Poliția Română, Directoratul Național de Securitate Cibernetică și Asociația Română a Băncilor.
Verificați cu atenție orice propunere de plată online. Nu accesați linkuri trimise de necunoscuți. Nu furnizați datele de pe card. Ele nu se folosesc pentru a primi bani. Raportați orice tentativă de fraudă.
Complexul energetic Oltenia garantează de 40 de ani siguranța sistemului energetic național. Pentru că vântul nu bate în fiecare zi, debitul apelor scade în arșița soarelui și nici soarele nu strălucește tot timpul pe cer. În schimb, cărbunele complexului energetic Oltenia mai poate furniza energie României încă 40 de ani de acum înainte. Și asta doar cu rezervele descoperite până în prezent.
Complexul energetic Oltenia. Energia pământului românesc.
Așa începe o poveste despre curaj. Medicina extraordinară începe cu tine. Regina Maria, ești mai puternic decât crezi.
Had emails stating that our account had been taken for ransom. They were threatening to delete all of the content, to take the name if we did not respond and pay a ransom within 2 hours. The ransom they were asking for was $900. At the time, I very much considered paying it, but at the same time, my husband was looking online and was reading a couple of scenarios where this had happened to somebody else, they paid it and they didn't receive their account back. So I realized very quickly, don't interact. It was devastating to see our account disappear. Not only was that 8 years of work, but it was also the history of our business. We created a new account and then I went on to my personal account and I recorded a 2-minute video, very briefly telling people what had happened. When I woke up the next morning, that video had been viewed 25,000 times and everybody shared the page. Within 24 hours, we had built up a following of over 25,000. It was like somebody came in, burnt out my business, and then the community came together and built it up the next day. It was absolutely incredible. The advice I would give to people is always think before you click, no matter how legitimate something looks. It was devastating to see our account disappear. Not only was that 8 years of work, but it was also the history of our business. I was aware that hacking was becoming more and more prominent. I didn't expect that it would happen to me. The advice I would give to people is always think before you click. No matter how legitimate something looks, make sure that you click on the sender email. I would also say make sure that you put 2-step authentication on everything. Make sure to use a unique and strong password for each account. Keep them different and use a password manager where you can. As well as reporting to your social media provider or wherever the hacking incident has occurred, you should also report it to the local authorities, because the more these things are reported and the more awareness that is out there of what is happening, the more education is going to be put in place on how to prevent it.
Bună ziua, bine v-am regăsit. Deschidem acum dezbaterile în cadrul unui seminar dedicat unei industrii de excepțională importanță pentru România. Este vorba de industria chimică. Se știe, țara noastră a avut și are încă importante resurse de materie prime care o fac între cei mai importanți potențiali producători de produse chimice prelucrate în acest domeniu, având deja o tradiție care înseamnă mai mult de 100 de ani. După 1989, este adevărat că această industrie a cunoscut un recul important și pe fondul unor mutații mai generale din societatea noastră și pe fondul unor schimbări în concepția, în maniera de a privi evoluția lucrurilor. Ultimii ani însă au adus o redresare consistentă a acestei industrii și cred că cel mai bun indicator în acest sens îl constituie numărul de salariați pe care îl angajează industria chimică din România. Dacă la sfârșitul anului 2008, deci după ce intrasem, la un an după ce intrasem în Uniunea Europeană, numărul lor era ușor peste 85.000, astăzi numărul acestor lucrători în industria chimică românească a trecut de 94.000, deci aproape 9.000 și ceva de angajați în plus. Este un semnal că sectorul începe să producă din ce în ce mai bine și multe dintre marile complexe chimice care într-o anumită perioadă intraseră sau erau aproape de a intra în colaps, încep să funcționeze din ce în ce mai bine. Sunt convins că prezentările ce vor urma, discuțiile ce vor fi angajate, vor sublinia tocmai acest model de speranță pe care îl dă industria chimică românească, o industrie care beneficiază de rezerve consistente și de sare, și de gaze, și de țiței, și de alte materiale care o fac rentabile și profitabile pentru cei care investesc aici. În acest sens, sub semnul acestei credințe, o să ofer posibilitatea să-și exprime punctul de vedere, o personalitate recunoscută în domeniul industriei chimice, un om care vine din economia reală, în care s-a ilustrat prin competență, prin tenacitate și prin o creativitate pusă totdeauna în slujba sistemului în care lucrează, a unei industrii în care crede și a angajaților care o slujesc. Așadar, o să-l invit pe domnul Runtag Tivadar, președintele Asociației Producătorilor și Distribuitorilor de Chimicale din România. Poftiți, domnul Tivadar.
Mulțumesc. Thank you very much, Mr. Alex Andrescu. I will share my screen because this is a big honor to be here, and I would like to show also a few slides that I put together to demonstrate what I think about the possibilities of the chemical industry and about our opportunities in the chemical industry. So let me show you what I think about this topic. The title of my topic was the circular economy. Is it a dream or a reality? I have to say that I am a visionary. I believe in visions, but I do not believe in fairy tales. So whenever we talk about circular economy, we have to define whether it is a dream, a vision, or is it a reality already? Why do we have to talk about circular economy? There are a lot of talks about how much waste we produce. And I am very visual, so I just made a rough calculation that the 30 million tons of plastic waste that is collected in Europe in a year, how would it look like if we put together? And I used a very simple calculation that this 30 million tons would be the equivalent of more or less 22 million Mercedes A-class cars. If we put these cars one after the other, then it would be a long chain of approximately 100,000 kilometers, which means that these cars could go around the Earth 2.5 times. And this is only the plastic waste that is collected in Europe in a year, which means that the plastic waste which is not even collected or the other wastes are not counted here. 85% of the collected plastic waste goes into landfill. So it just goes into depots, big depots, or they are burned. So only 15% is recycled or used as a raw material for fuels or new plastics. I like to visualize the things, as I said, and I believe that it demonstrates clearly that we have to talk about recycling and we have to talk about circular economy. Now, what is the difference between a linear economy and a circular economy? This is relatively simple. The linear economy starts with the raw materials, and it goes to manufacturing, it goes through the distribution chain, then it arrives to the customers who will use it, and after usage, dispose it, throw it away. The circular economy is something very easy to imagine. Think that the raw materials go to manufacturing, distribution, consumption, collection, but then they do not go to waste, but they are recycled, and it goes again and again and again. So it sounds very simple, isn't it? To make it happen, I believe that we have to focus on three key pillars. One is about technology. Is it technically possible, yes or no? The second is economy. Is it feasible or not? And the third is the mentality, our readiness to face the challenges that circular economy will bring to us. Let me talk first about the technology, and maybe this is what you would think is the closest to chemical industry. There are two types of recycling. One is mechanical and the other is the chemical recycling. In the mechanical recycling, plastic waste is collected, then it is sorted, so the selective waste collection is very important. Then it goes to washing, cleaning, and grinding, so they break the materials into small flakes, and then these flakes can be used again as a raw material. So practically in mechanical recycling, we reproduce the same materials that were at the beginning of the cycle. The chemical substances are not changed. This is a very important technology, and say almost half or a little bit more than half of the recollected plastic waste can be mechanically recycled as the technology exists. The chemical recycling is even more exciting, because in chemical recycling we tear apart the recollected waste to molecules, or even to a lower level, and then break up the molecules. In essence, it means that if we start with one product, well, here I see the slides, thank you very much. So here you can see the Mercedes A-Class going 2.5 times around the world. If you see the next slide, then hello? Yes, so this is the difference between linear and circular economy. Next one will show a simplification of the circular economy, where basically we expect to take out landfill, and we also take out the input as fossil fuels and fossil raw materials by adding certain chemical recycling formulas. Next slide, please, which is the three main pillars. We start with the technology, the next one, and the next one, which was the mechanical recycling, the very simple process. The next one comes to the chemical recycling, and this is where we start. So practically the chemical recycling makes it possible to produce materials which were not available at the beginning of the processing period. And this is possible only by the special formulas of the chemical industry. That's why I believe that chemical industry plays a very significant role in the entire process. Is it a science fiction or is it not? You see on this slide that there are companies already practicing chemical recycling. We are in partnership with BASF. It's not the place of reclam or advertisements, but very exciting technologies they share with us about chemical recycling, how it is possible to use in industrial scale the collected waste materials and produce new products. But there are a number of other companies, and these are only the members of CEFIC, the European Chemical Association, who are listed on this slide. So there are a number of companies, big names, smaller names, who are already in chemical recycling business. So it is possible. Next slide, please. And it's just a very simple schema of how we believe that the full recycling is possible. As I said, the virgin plastics, when they go to plastic products and after being wasted, mechanical recycling can reproduce more than 50% of this stuff, and the remaining part can go to chemical recycling. Part of it can be then processed for internal energy generation. The majority goes back to new formulas, new molecules that will be again feedstock for producing new plastics and other materials. On this schema, we could see that only 5% is ending up with landfill or burning. As the technology evolves, I believe that in a couple of years we can reach 100% recycling possibility. So the full recycling, technically speaking, is not a science fiction anymore. Next slide, please. Let's talk a little about economy. Next one, please. All what I was talking about, technical, but also mechanical, but especially the chemical recycling, costs a lot of money. It requires a lot of investment. The technologies are new, so they are under development, and laboratories have to be built to come up with new solutions. The production chains have to be changed in the factories. So affordability is an issue. Can we afford to pay all this money? Because at the end of the day, it will be the customers who have to pay a higher price for the finished products if they come from recycled materials. Yes, it is an issue, but the political decisions as we speak have a very important, a very big impact on the economic trends. The fact that the politicians made decisions about the Green Deal and make funds available, it helps a lot. Customer behavior is also steering changes, because the customers more and more observe the composition of the products they buy. There was a very interesting survey in Europe a couple of months ago, which says that more than 80% of the customers are interested, if the information is available, whether the product is recycled, recyclable, or not. And to a straight question whether they are willing to pay a higher price, a premium for recyclable products, more than 20% gave a positive answer. So the trend is moving also in that direction. Consumers started to care about what they buy. And it also steers the industry there and helps the economic calculations. Ecology, society, and governance is now a standard terms, ESG. When banks, lenders, investors make decisions about financing a company, financing an investment for a company. If the investment is not compliant with the basic ESG rules, then to obtain financing is a lot more difficult than for a green investment, let's put it this way. And as the time goes, the new technological inventions, innovations make the ecological solutions more and more affordable. So they are less and less expensive. With all these specs, we can say that sustainability, at least these days, has become a good business. There is a demand from the market, there are money, funds available, and there are technologies available. I would say that sustainability, that is a mission for me personally, is also a source of income for entrepreneurs and for companies. And this is a very good match, because this is the only way how we can make sure that the investments will really happen and will bring the results. It is also interesting to see that only the European Green Deal, as you probably heard already several times, the number is 1 trillion euros, so 12 zeros after the one, has been mobilized or is being mobilized for green investments. Affordability is still an issue, but it is happening, and green investments, circular economy becomes more and more affordable. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about the mentality, because this is all very nice to talk about technology. Yes, we can make it on paper. It is nice to talk about the business part. Yes, there is money available that we can work on it. But actually the recycling, especially the chemical recycling, requires an ecosystem that involves the full value chain, supported by a policy framework that looks beyond the traditional boundaries of regions and industries. It is not enough to make political declarations. The EU Green Deal or the UN Climate Change Conference last week, very nice declarations. They are necessary, but not enough. The business decisions are also necessary, but in itself not enough. There is within CEFIC a frame for safe and sustainable by design, which means that the new products, the new chemical products that are developed by chemical industry has to be safe and sustainable already at the design phase, not only thinking what we will do with it after the new product comes. It is also necessary, but not enough. Measuring and reporting the ESG performance, it is also necessary, but not enough on itself. The buying habits of the consumers, they are critical. How much it is possible to sustain the interest of the consumers for ecological products. Selective waste correction is also critical. Unfortunately, in our region, this is one of the unsolved questions or issues for the time being. Laws exist, but the real enforcement of the law is lagging behind. So selective waste collection is not happening, although this would be extremely important if we want to make recycling. There is a very big responsibility of the media when there is a hype. There is a common interest in ecology, in sustainability. Then usually the consumers pay attention. Usually the policymakers pay attention, and then somehow the locomotive is running. When the media picks up another interesting, important or less important topic, and the attention turns away from these critical issues, then unfortunately less money is coming. The consumers will think less about the appropriate buying habits, etc. So we should never underestimate the importance of the media and the responsibility of the media in sustainable development. Volunteering in garbage collection and other activities, which I was also participating several times, is good, is nice, but not enough. Education from early childhood, how to make the selective waste and how to think ecologically already as a child is very important. So there are a number of elements which are very important, but one by one they are not enough. They have to come together, and then we can say that there is a real change in mentality. And this is what we have to achieve if we want to think about circular economy in general. Next slide, please. The next slide, please. Here, I just show a couple of examples about big companies that started already investments in circular economy and in green transformation. I just put up this slide because I want to show that there are real big forces behind this transition. And if these big investments are happening, and I'm very happy to say that we in Chimcomplex also work on investments in green direction. If these investments happen, then there will be already a natural weight somehow that would be very difficult to hold back or turn around. Somehow in my mind it looks like a huge ocean-going tanker that is not easy to shift the direction, but once you make it, then it goes and it breaks its way. So my hope is that with this evolution that is happening already now, started 2-3 years ago, and it's going despite of the pandemic, despite of several political turmoils in one country or another, that if another 5 to 8 years it continues, then it will be totally impossible to turn back from there. Now, if you allow me, on the next slide, please, I would like to say a few words about the Romanian Chemical Producers and Distributors Association. The abbreviation is APDCR. This association is a member of CEFIC, which is the European Chemical Industry Council. And I was honored 1.5 months ago to be elected as the president of this association, being also myself the CEO of Chimcomplex, the biggest chemical production company in Romania. The next slide, please, will show the members of the association. At the moment, we have 18 members, plus 4 honorary members. And our membership includes production companies, distribution companies, and also transporters of chemical materials. Next slide, please. On a big forum last couple of weeks, we were discussing with the members what are the priorities at this stage of our association. And it came up as a #1 from all our discussions that to prepare the members for the impact and opportunities by the Green Deal is a #1 priority. What do we mean here? There are so many changes in the Green Deal which are considered by some as restriction. Some that are difficulties to cope with the very strict regulations. And we want to offer help to the members from the association, how to prepare the reports, how to measure the performance, how to use the standards that are established in the Green Deal. And if we can do this together, it gives a lot of opportunities, because if we in Romania can report on a standard way our green performance, our ecological performance, our ecological footprint, our progress, then our representatives in the European Parliament will have a much easier role when they negotiate and debate about the allocation of available funds. So this is one of the key topics that all the members shared in the association. The second is not strictly related, but critical not only for the chemical industry, but for all the industries, that qualified talent is extremely important to find. People are leaving the country, leaving the industries, so we have to find good ways to cooperate with universities, with high schools, and to make sure that the attractiveness of chemical industry will evolve. We want to share the information and the know-how of related topics. We organize workshops, events in different categories, and we want to collaborate with other associations and authorities in a much stronger way. Next slide, please. This is the end of my story. So basically, what is the answer to the original question? Is circular economy a dream or is it a reality? My answer is that it is happening. It is happening, and it is happening because industries, among those chemical industry, make it possible. But it is the responsibility of all of us, not only the producers, but also the consumers, the policymakers, to make it happen. And if anybody feels like joining our association, being a law firm, being a media firm, or agency, or other producers, distributors, they are more than welcome. Thank you very much for the attention.
Și noi vă mulțumim foarte mult, domnule Tivadar, pentru această minunată pledoarie pentru economia viitorului, pentru economia circulară care va conduce categoric la îndeplinirea tuturor obiectivelor din acest ambițios și absolut necesar plan verde de a face ca să trăim pe o planetă mai curată, mai frumoasă, de o manieră mai sustenabilă, și sustenabilitatea, așa cum arătați, vine tocmai din această economie care e circulară, care este mai ieftină și în același timp mai rentabilă. Totodată nu uităm că România este țara în care s-a prelucrat pentru prima oară țițeiul în lume, că am avut rafinării înaintea americanilor, care sunt astăzi cei mai performanți din lume, și am reușit de-a lungul anilor să ne creăm o industrie chimică și petrochimică de înaltă performanță. Totodată, legat de ideea de economie circulară, aș vrea să amintesc aici că cel care a introdus pentru prima oară între conceptele științifice moderne ideea de o dezvoltare care să nu fie risipitoare, așa cum era dezvoltarea concepută în secolul al XIX-lea și al XX-lea, a fost un gânditor român, poate cel mai mare economist pe care l-a dat această țară, Nicolae Georgescu Răgen, care cu o carte scrisă în 1971, Entropia economică, bioeconomia, a lansat acest concept de economie care să aibă grijă de resurse pentru generațiile viitoare. Profesor universitar în Statele Unite, a avut discipoli care au fost premiați Nobel. El a refuzat totdeauna acest premiu, pentru că, spunea el, nu poate primi un premiu care contravine ideilor de dezvoltare ale momentului, când lumea era grăbită pentru o dezvoltare mecanică, mereu mai mult, fără a ține seama de resursele care se consumă. Iată că, după nici 100 de ani, ne întoarcem la ideile lui și descoperim că, într-adevăr, trebuie să construim o lume în care rezervele energetice, rezervele de materii prime de toate felurile să fie consumate cu grijă, să descoperim tehnologii noi, așa încât să lăsăm și generațiilor ce vin după noi o planetă curată și frumoasă. Sfidarea schimbărilor climatice este o provocare care nu poate fi depășită decât, așa cum formulați foarte frumos într-unul dintre slide-uri, nu doar. Deci nu este vorba doar de politici publice asumate și puse în practică, nu doar de inițiativele unor întreprinzători care vor să dezvolte o industrie curată, nu doar de participarea mass mediei la susținerea acestui proiect, nu doar implicarea societății civile și așa mai departe, ci este vorba ca toate acestea să fie făcute împreună. În momentul în care se va crea acest val unitar, care să vină și din partea oamenilor care decid, a politicienilor, și din partea lumii economice, a industriașilor, și din partea consumatorilor, care fiecare poate contribui la acest proces, și nu în ultimul rând din partea presei, care este un factor de educație extrem de important, lumea va ajunge acolo unde este de dorit și unde încă eu cred că putem să ajungem, evitând momentul dramatic în care se va aplica în viață o idee pe care o formula un explorator polar acum vreo 30-40 de ani, Paul-Émile Victor, care spunea că să nu urâm lupii. Lupii s-au născut prădători ca și oamenii, lupii au rămas prădători, omul din păcate a devenit un distrugător. Este un lucru foarte frumos spus, din păcate în mare parte, în cea mai mare parte adevărat, să încetăm a mai fi acel distrugător de care vorbea exploratorul francez și să fim un constructor al unei lumi mai frumoase și mai curate. Vă mulțumesc încă o dată și sper ca cele prezentate aici să fie receptate de cât mai multe minți care pot pune în practică ideile pe care le-ați formulat. Și cu aceasta o să-l invit la cuvânt pe o mai veche cunoștință, domnul Ilie Pană, cofondator al unei afaceri care se cheamă Farmacia de Detergent. În trecut era vorba și de ciorap, dacă mi-aduc aminte, și de alte activități din acestea aparent periferice, dar care, într-un sens mai larg, dau sens până la urmă unei afaceri cu fața către viitor. Domnul Pană, vă rog să vă expuneți ideile.
Hello, Mr. Vladimir Alexandrescu. It is a pleasure to see you again. I hope we see each other again soon. It was also a pleasure to listen to Mr. Tivadar Runtag. There were people before me with far more experience than I have and my colleagues, but it is a pleasure for us to come with a new experience that we created through this company. It's called the Detergent Farmacy in English, or Farmacia de Detergent in Romanian. My name is Ilie Pană. I'm a co-founder of this company with my associate who's right behind the screen. His name is Laurențiu Ungureanu. We are two young companies that are split between production and distribution of laundry detergent at the moment, and we have an amazing experience to share with you, and an amazing experience in only a little bit over 1 year of activity, in which, in my opinion, we have to measure it, but in my opinion, we have already gained almost 1% of the laundry detergent market in Romania, which is amazing. It is far more amazing that all this is done with production that is going on 100% in Romania. And even without an experience which is tens of years old, we have managed to bring to the market an amazing product which has even better benefits than the normal laundry detergent on the market in Romania. But with another risk, which is a risk which is lower. We have taken this philosophy of making an analysis of the benefit and risk. This kind of analysis is done especially in the medical field, but I think also in the chemical field. What we have tried to do is bring to the market a product which brings the same benefit as the other products, or in our opinion, even better benefits, but with a lower risk, because it is very important, and this is especially in the chemical industry.
It's 16 hours.
It is very important to bring the benefits to the people, but watch out for the risks that come for the health and for the environment. In other words, we are now living in a period of pandemics. People nowadays are even more and more careful with their health than before. Environment is an older subject in the latest years, but health is more and more coming into the spotlight. For this reason, it is very important to say that for the laundry detergent, there were many problems, and there are still many problems with the normal laundry detergents that exist on the market. Usually companies try to make a very good product which gives a very good benefit for the cleaning part of the laundry. I mean, if we go right in the details, many companies are looking for that product and are bringing it to the market that clears the stains away, gives better colors, makes the white bright, gives a very nice smell. However, there are some health costs and environment costs in this thing, because a detergent, a laundry detergent, as it gets more and more aggressive with the stains, and gets more and more aggressive in its action to cleaning the textiles, it can cause also health problems and problems for the environment. This is why many people, especially children, have problems with their skin. Seborrheic dermatitis is one of the problems that appears in young children because of laundry detergent. For this reason, we were very careful when we brought this detergent to the market. We were very careful so that its recipe is one that brings the benefits that we are talking about. And when I say benefits, I am talking about the reason why people buy the laundry detergent, and this is to use it in their laundry machine to clean the laundry. But we have struggled in order to make sure that these benefits come with lower risks. And for this reason, the recipe contains better raw materials than the raw materials usually used in the laundry detergent. Ingredients that are more expensive to buy than the normal ingredients, that are much more difficult to use in order to create an effective product for cleaning, but that bring very good benefit, very low risks for the health of people that use them and for the environment. We have not yet achieved a 100% biodegradable product, but we are working on it, but we are very close to that. Also, according to the experience that we have in this year, where we sold to almost 100,000 families our detergent, we have seen that people have almost no complaints and have absolutely no complaints relating to their skin. We are very happy that we achieved this, and we strongly believe in the possibility to have an almost 100% circular economy, like Mr. Tivadar Runtag told and presented before, an economy where we can make the product, sell it, the people can use it, and build a very smart recycling system by which to bring everything back to the production. I will not give too much details regarding this, as we are working on this system, but we would like to become a 100% circular company, which not only takes care of the health of the people that use our products, but also takes care of the health of the planet. And as Mr. Alexandrescu said before, in Romanian, he said that actually, all in all, the ultimate objective would be to have a beautiful and clean planet, and I would add, with very healthy people that use our products. I also want to say that I think it is a motivational story what we have created, and I think it can motivate also other Romanian entrepreneurs that yes, you can do production in Romania. As you can see, I'm right in the factory. We just got our filling machine, which is right behind me, and my associate Laurențiu Ungureanu will do the necessary work to install it, and we are advancing with our production operation and our selling operation. This is my presentation. This is what I wanted to say, and I look forward to the debate.
Domnul Pană, și deși n-a fost nimic organizat special, iată că după prezentarea de susținere a economiei circulare pe care ne-a făcut-o domnul Tivadar, dumneavoastră veniți cu o demonstrație practică a faptului că această economie circulară chiar funcționează și poate să obțină, să fie de succes în ideea de a avea o lume mai curată, în cazul produselor pe care le produceți, mai curată chiar la propriu, o lume mai curată și cu mai puține costuri și riscuri, atât în ceea ce privește cei care folosesc detergentul pe care ni-l arătați acum în cameră, cât și planeta în întregimea ei. Este frumos să constați, e plăcut să constați că ideile importante își găsesc o aplicare în viața practică atât de repede și cu rezultate atât de bune. Nu-mi rămâne decât să vă urez în continuare să reușiți în ideile pe care le puneți în operă și sunt convins că veți găsi și alte domenii în care aceste idei să-și găsească un câmp de aplicație. După șosetele de acum un an, după detergentul de anul acesta, așteptăm să vedem cu ce noutate frumoasă veți veni la viitoarele noastre sesiuni. Vă mulțumesc mult!
Și eu vă mulțumesc! Thank you all!
Și pentru încheierea discuțiilor pe care le avem astăzi, dacă este prezent, o să-l invit pe domnul Andreas Lier, președinte al Camerei de Comerț româno-germane și director general al BASF pentru România și Bulgaria. Înainte de asta, însă, câteva cuvinte despre prezența germană în România și importanța schimburilor economice pe care le avem cu marea țară din vestul Europei. Germania reprezintă pentru noi cel mai important, pentru România, cel mai important partener comercial. Schimburile comerciale între România și Germania s-au ridicat până la jumătatea acestui an la 16,4 miliarde de euro. 9 miliarde de euro reprezentând exporturile germane în România, 7,4 miliarde de euro reprezentând exporturile României în Germania.
Okay. So how to share?
Germania este o prezență puternică în spațiul românesc prin cele peste 7500 de firme care activează aici, care au peste 226.000 de angajați, care produc o cifră de afaceri de circa 27 de miliarde de euro anual și așa mai departe. Deci este o țară care dezvoltă un parteneriat puternic cu România și față de care România dezvoltă un parteneriat puternic în aceeași măsură. Spuneam, principalul nostru partener comercial și nu numai comercial, pentru că prezența germană în România, așa cum arătam, se traduce și prin întreprinderile cu capital german care funcționează în România, prin investițiile pe care acestea le fac anual. Așa că îmi face plăcere să-l invit la microfon, e o terminologia clasică, pe domnul Andreas Lier, poate cea mai competentă personalitate care poate vorbi despre aceste relații și despre economia circulară care își demonstrează valențele și în cazul firmelor germane care lucrează în România. Poftiți, domnule Lier.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, dear colleagues. I can only join, unfortunately, by telephone, so I cannot share the slides with my telephone. Someone with a computer, we have some problems. So if someone has the slides, then I can talk about. Otherwise, unfortunately, I cannot attend. I have problems with the computer, with this connection. So I have a very good internet connection, but it does not work, unfortunately.
Va probleme tehnice legate de comunicarea domnului Lier. Până când colegii de la tehnic vor reuși să le rezolve, o să încerc să vă mai spun eu câteva lucruri despre relațiile româno-germane. Spuneam că firmele germane sunt o prezență activă în spațiul românesc. Ele realizează anual un venit de circa 27 de miliarde de euro, o sumă importantă, și mare parte din aceasta a fost investită în afaceri pe teritoriul României, circa 9,7 miliarde. Este o sumă extrem de importantă. De asemenea, Camera de Comerț Româno-Germană, care cuprinde circa 550 de firme asociate, reprezintă principalul vector de dezvoltare a relațiilor comerciale dintre România și Germania, o relație care are toate premisele să se dezvolte în continuare, pentru că principalele domenii în care activează aceste firme sunt legate de domeniile de vârf ale economiei românești. Spuneam, importurile și exporturile reciproce sunt din ce în ce mai mari și de multă vreme Germania este principalul partener comercial al României, urmat de Italia.
I was suggesting to give the word to Andreas because he can obviously share a few thoughts and developments about the chem cycling process of BASF, which is absolutely relevant and I would say revolutionary to the chemical industry. So maybe that would be worth to listen. Okay, I see that he is no longer connected. Then maybe we can share just a few immediate comments with Mr. Pană. I liked very much your presentation, especially because it was such a clear confirmation to what I said, that technology exists and it can be also an economic success if there is a goodwill. I think what they say, dacă dorința, cum se spune, că cu dorința vine și putere. Yes, with the goodwill comes also the power, and the Detergent Farmacy is an excellent example for that. you. So Andreas is back. So maybe Andreas, you can say a few words about the BASF chem cycling, which, as I said, is a revolutionary, a big step forward to the chemical industry, and a very interesting concept.
Yeah, so first of all, once again, good afternoon. Unfortunately, somehow the things are not working properly. I'm sitting in front of my phone now because with my computer I cannot connect to this link. It's the first time during presentations that this does not working, and I've prepared a nice presentation. But what I can say is, yes, BASF as the largest chemical company in the world is fully connected to the Green Deal. The Green Deal is, as you already learned, maybe a policy agenda which covers a lot of policy areas from CO2 neutrality, circular economy, smart mobility, and many more, just to name a few. And what we see as BASF is currently a paradigm shift from a linear economy basically towards a circular economy, to new forms of energy. And the challenges are really big at the moment. And the chemical industry, they have a lot challenges at the moment. At the same time, we have to become greenhouse neutral, we have to become digital, we have to become circular, and we have to become free of harmful substances. So there are a lot of things which are around us. But one of the most important components is cheaper green energy, and this in significant quantities. So if this will not work, that means green hydrogen. And it's not like about this, you build some windmills and you produce green hydrogen. There's a lot more technology behind. So for example, BASF now works on a electric heated steam cracker. That's about electrification of the industry we talk. And we are quite engaged in this. So we are building currently the largest wind farm in the world with RWE for offshore wind farm in the world, with RWE for 4 billion roundabout. That is our project. And we have also joint venture with Vattenfall. So we are also working on this. So all these things are needed to be done. And then, of course, this electric heated steam cracker, there's a new process needed. That means, first of all, we need the significant amounts of green cheap energy, and then we need to create the processes, and we of course need a lot of support for this from government and authorities in order to make it happen. Also, what we have to add is basically that we have a process what's called chem cycling. That means collecting plastic waste, like also tires, and out of these tires, plastic waste, we can produce then pyrolysis oil, bring it back into our systems, and produce again products out of this. That's called circular economy, basically, also in somehow in a way. And we are engaged in this to work on different areas in asset energy and chem cycling, and a lot of challenges at the same time. And here policy must focus on being supportive to create a coordinated framework, regulations at EU level and in Romania in order to make all these changes happen. Of course, the Green Deal can be only a success if the Green Deal will be accompanied by a strong industrial policy and a regulatory framework. So I'm just asking, have you received my slides in the meanwhile? There's no feedback. Hello? Hello?
They will be available in a few seconds.
So Carmen should send the slides. She should have it. And basically, based on this, we could go through all this. But as said, we can also discuss all without the slides. We are in front of significant changes, and this paradigm shift starts with new circular energy, new circular economy with new forms of energy and digitalization. So all this is around us at the same time. I got a new connection link. Maybe this works. Here it is. Good. So you have it. So how we want to proceed? Should we start from scratch or how we want to do this now? If you have the time, I can start from scratch. So then once again, good afternoon, dear colleagues. And yeah, let's start. Next slide, please, on our behalf here, from BASF side. So basically the Green Deal, it's called Europe's Man on the Moon moment. If you can go click one further, please. Yes. And it's a policy system, policy and agenda, which covers many areas from CO2 neutrality, circular economy, smart mobility, and many more, just to name a few. And no other continent has a comparable vision like Europe at the moment. So it's a real century challenge. It is a quite transition, to say so. And we have to be clear that the slogan Green Deal comprises an agenda which will have impact on all of us, on our lives, how we eat, how we travel, how we produce, and how we build. And of course, how we power our houses and our cars and which energy we use. And for all these topics, draft laws will be worked out later this year. So we as BASF, we are fully committed to the EU Green Deal, to sustainability, to circular economy, and few new forms of reliable energy. And it is really an opportunity, a century of opportunities and challenges. And only if done right, the EU Green Deal opens up the chance for Europe in the global competition to receive an advantage. Let's go to the next one, please. So you see here, there are a lot of different policies on this, different working groups, different topics which are ongoing, farm to fork, smart mobility, and of course, the most important principle is that the Europe will become by 2050 CO2 neutral, and around this there are many different cornerstones which makes this happen in order to become a more sustainable society. Let's go to the next one. I'm just touching now on different elements which are quite important for the chemical industry and chemical sector. You see this here, for example, that the EU hydrogen strategy is a very important cornerstone of the Green Deal agenda. And so that's then the interesting part is also that for a certain time the Commission also is relying on the so-called blue hydrogen in the transition phase. I will later explain what this is. Green hydrogen is basically then generated from renewable. It will be used for producing electricity from these windmills, and out of this, via electrolysis, produce then hydrogen, green hydrogen. And this is and it's not done like this, like there is suddenly the green hydrogen. The issue is that there is a high demand for green hydrogen in future. And you see it will be in the mobility sector and the housing sector, but first of all, the industry needs this green hydrogen. So that's quite important for the industry. Let's go further. Next slide. Yeah, this is then also the offshore strategy. There's a strong expansion of wind power at sea planned. The EU Commission's offshore strategy focusing on expanding capacity from 12 today to 60 gigawatts by 2030, and even to 300 gigawatts by 2050. And so accordingly, there's high investment demand. So we are talking here almost about 1 trillion. We are talking about 800 billion euros to be invested into wind power and other new renewables energies at seaside by 2050. And the EU plans to cover around about 3% of the coastal area with wind energy farms in order to guarantee this, that there will be sufficient green energy available. So that is a quite important thing. And the most, as said already at the beginning, one of the most important components is cheaper green electricity in significant quantities and for good prices. And this is very important for the transition. And the Green Deal transition will only succeed if our industry and the energy companies remain strong. So that is a quite important thing. And here a lot of support and alignment and collaboration of all the stakeholders is needed in order to make this happen. Let's come to the next one. Yes, this is basically the circular economy. So circular economy, as already said, we are now seeing a paradigm shift from a linear economy towards a circular economy. We have to rethink design and use of resources and keep them in use as long as possible. And we also have to recover and recycle products and materials. And of course, we have to avoid the waste and pollution and protect natural systems. So this is a very important move where also we as BASF are quite engaged. Tivadar already mentioned this with a project called ChemCycling, to which I will come a bit later at the slide. Circular economy, also one of the cornerstones of Green Deal. Next one. Now we are coming closer to the chemical industry. So and also to my company, to BASF. So we want to grow at least in a climate neutral way by 2030. And from a purely technical point of view, it would be possible to make the entire chemical industry climate neutral by 2050. But we have to highlight this would need significant investments into process technology. To most important, energy cost is here quite important. And as you know, they are running most of the chemicals plants. They are running with fossils, with oil and gas at the moment, and the switch to renewables will create a lot of tasks and we need to have support in order to make this happen. Yeah? So, and we need significant renewables in future on stable quantities to have green energy also at low prices available or acceptable prices. Let's go to the next one. This is the slide already mentioned. Hydrogen basically is already everywhere working in the industrial sectors. It's not a new wonder product, to say so. At the moment, hydrogen is needed in order to drive different chemical and industrial processes. And you see here that's the gray hydrogen that's coming from natural gas. Then there's another type of hydrogen that is the blue hydrogen, and then we have also the turquoise hydrogen, and now we are coming to this hydrogen where all we are talking about, it's basically the green hydrogen. And this green hydrogen is at the moment round about current cost, you see, 6 times higher than gray hydrogen. So in order to make this competitive, we need to have significant amounts of green hydrogen and also the windmills and the photovoltaics, and therefore are significant investments needed. And there will be for sure also a period, what we call transition period, where we have to think about how to make this transition happen from conventional processes towards green hydrogen in future. So here support by regulatory frameworks and by policymakers is needed in order to make the transition towards significant amounts of green hydrogen possible. And this also means private investors, but also, of course, now with the recovery and resilient funds, significant investments are needed into the Romanian energy system. And what we see at the moment is that that most probably the provided means which are currently under the discussion might be not sufficient in order to power the industry in future with green hydrogen, or in other words, to electrify the industry. So here we have to be careful that we will have sufficient energy in future available. Yes, and as said, it's not done like this, build some windmills and then the industry is electrified. No, there are a lot of processes needed in order to do this. Next slide, please. And I'm coming now to an example. Here you see the heart of a chemical site, of the heart of BASF, or one of the hearts of BASF to say so. It's called a steam cracker. And BASF, SABIC and Linde, we are working jointly at the realization of the worldwide first electrical heated steam cracker in the world. And it's just an example, as said, but in many industries, new processes need to be created. And you will see just what does this mean to drive a steam cracker. At the moment, we are driving this with gas. In future, we want to do this electrically, or say in words with windmills, because the windmills produce the electricity, and out of this, by electrolysis, green hydrogen will produce what will then power the steam cracker. That's electrification of the industry. Next one, please. So here you see a steam cracker. It produces building blocks for all different chemical products, and we have here, for example, naphtha. Naphtha is going into the steam cracker. Yes, stay here, please. Naphtha is going into the steam cracker, and it's heated up to south. Next one, round about 850 degrees. Next slide, please. Yes, 850 degrees. So it's currently powered by natural gas. Next slide. So that is then the fossils. They contain CO2. The fossils, we all know this. Next slide, please. And BASF is now working with partners to realize an electrically heated steam cracker. Means you see here the windmills, which are powering them basically. Our steam cracker via hydrolysis, and this process will take round about 6 to 7 years until we have electrified this steam cracker. Next one, please. So the idea to operate is this e-cracker to call. So it's not e-mobility, it's an e-cracker from wind and solar power. So it will be heated up via this electrolysis, via green hydrogen, basically, and then driving our steam cracker. And by doing, next slide, please. And by doing this, we can cut off the CO2 amount up to 90%. So that's a lot, a significant reduction of CO2 with this electrical heated steam crackers, what we are doing here as BASF. And let's go to the next one, please. Next one, yes, next one. I just quote here our CEO. So this technology leap will be a milestone on the path to a low emission chemical industry. We have not only developed the world's first electrical heating concept for steam crackers, but also want to demonstrate the reliability of key components for use in this type of high temperature reactors to be able to drive a timely scale up and industrial implementation of these technologies, investment support and competitiveness, renewable energy prices will be important prerequisites. So that's something always to keep in mind if you want to electrify our industry in Europe. Significant investments are needed, and we need competitive renewable energy prices in order to make this happen. Yeah. So please the next one. This is the quote of Martin Brudermüller, already said, basically, So we need to have significant amounts of renewables in order to make this a success story. Next slide. So this plant, what I've shown you, is it will be most probably ready somewhere at 2030, just to say this, yeah, to give you a flavor. And at the moment, BASF, we are already producing 250,000 tons hydrogen, but this is at the moment gray hydrogen. So we want to replace it basically via other processes with green hydrogen. And so green hydrogen will be then an important building stone for the transformation of the industry. But what we see here is chemicals is a major user of hydrogen. Yeah? But hydrogen in the chemical industry cannot be substituted. And you see on the right side of the slide and a lot of other users or potential users, yeah, applications. That is then, for example, fuel, the circular economy, households, and so on. So all want to have basically the green hydrogen in future and have this demand. But here's the important things that we have to give priorities in future. At first, who is really in need of this very important good of green hydrogen, and we of course also need to develop the respective infrastructure for this. So there are a lot of things needed in order to make such topics, such big mega projects happen, like electrification of the industry, as just shown you as an example of BASF with a electric heated steam cracker. So next one, please. Yes, so we as BASF, as said, we are fully committed to the EU Green Deal. We are working here on process innovations that are low carbon technologies. This is chem cycling, as already said. That is circular economy, where our partners from us collect plastic waste. Can it be also tires? We bring it into pyrolysis oil, and then this pyrolysis oil can go back into our Verbund site to produce new products and power our activities. We are working also on sustainable agriculture. So these are process innovations and innovative products. Yeah, there are a lot of innovative products, like, for example, biodegradable and compostable plastics. So that are plastics which you can just put into the soil, basically, for farmers, for example, like films, agriculture films, for mulch films, and so on. These are important things we are doing at the same time. And it's again here to highlight that the chemical industries plays an important role in achieving the EU Green Deal objectives. There are a lot of innovations needed. We also see the need, the combination with an ambitious industrial strategy, already as said. Transition to climate neutrality and circular economy requires an enabling regulatory framework which strengthens the competitiveness of the European industry and also, of course, in particular of the chemical industry. Electrification of the industry will be not an easy task. It requires a lot of investments, and we need to ensure that transition periods will also covered. And EU Green Deal for sure will impact BASF's portfolio and value chains. So we have impact analysis ongoing. There will be products which are, let me say so, negatively impacted, but also products, of course, because we are fully in line here with sustainability targets, positively impacted. So a lot of things are needed. And more than ever, also a very constructive dialogue between policymakers and society and industry is needed in order to make the Green Deal a success. So a lot of things have to come at the same time, and it's important that we are talking about these things. Let me see, is there one more slide? Yes, here's, for example, next slide, please. You see this here as the process innovation. Next slide, please. You see this here, for example, as a process innovation, as said, the steam cracker heated by the offshore wind park via electrolysis. You see the windmills there, which is a project now for 4 billion euro. And we expect with this saving of 1 million tons of CO2 at BASF and as with other industrial partners. Yeah, that's something what we want to do. Yeah. Next slide, please. Here you see this chem cycling, what I talked about already. Basically, that's the concept of collecting waste and then bring it via pyrolysis oil again into our Verbund system, so that it produce new products again. So as circular economy based on chem cycling. There are different other things. Just yesterday we had our BASF Innovation Hub. There is, for example, recycling, of course, what is also quite important or very important here in Romania, recycling activities. But if those activities go hand in hand, chem cycling, recycling, various activities, we can ensure and create a sustainable economy and a circular economy. One more, next slide, please. We are also working on the next slide, please. We are also working on the innovation examples here, for example, that are products. As said, biodegradable mulch film, for example, for agriculture. You see here, for example, the salads, crops, and you can put this foil into the ground, and it's biodegradable. So that is an innovation, basically. Or there are other products you see here on the slide, which contribute towards a more sustainable society and economy, like Neopur, for example, insulation performance. It's insulation material, different fungicides, for example, you see here, which are also produced for sustainable future, and products and solutions are behind this. Next one, please. So the Green Deal, basically, and that's something important now for all us here in Romania. If you can go to the next slide. So the Green Deal basically creates a lot of challenges, opportunities in Romania. So it creates opportunities for innovation clusters in investments into new areas, like a sustainable agriculture, like the transition towards a circular economy, like sustainable transportation, clean and reliable and affordable energy, zero pollution Europe, and achieve climate neutrality. So a lot of things are here in for Romania in future, for Romanian companies, for international companies. And last slide, please. So as the last slide, you see that basically the EU Green Deal is setting the agenda and requires a strategy to tackle these challenges and opportunities for companies in Romania. First of all, we have to define whether it's a challenge or opportunity or both. If you are leading a company, we have to select the relevant areas. We have to incorporate the strategy into our businesses. And we have also, as said, we have to see and work together with the policymakers if there's a chance and opportunity to consider EU funds and supports, as a Green Deal requires a lot of challenges and changes in future. So, and of course, develop new partnerships, and that's also quite important. In future, we had just yesterday our Innovation Hub where we invited startups. You can see this also in the Zoom conferences. So that is basically what we are doing at the moment in order to find answers to the various challenges of the world and of the economies. Yeah, many thanks. If you have questions, I hope it worked now finally after a relatively tough start with the presentation.
Mulțumim, domnule Andreas Lier, chiar dacă au fost oarece dificultăți de conectare, prezentarea dumneavoastră a fost până la urmă extraordinar de reușită și ea trasează un mesaj optimist, dovada că această țintă ambițioasă de a ajunge la un climat neutru în anul 2050 poate fi atinsă urmând exact pașii pe care i-ați arătat în prezentare, pornind în primul rând de la asigurarea unor forme de energie care să fie dincolo de poluare și care să prezerve resursele naturale ale terei și pornind de la această electrificare pe care ați așezat-o la baza tuturor proceselor de inovare, se va ajunge într-adevăr la cele produse inovative care vor genera bunăstare și într-o lume curată. O să mă opresc aici cu comentariile mele. Știu că domnul Tivadar este doritor să intervină și îi predau microfonul.
Mulțumesc. O comentare foarte scurt, just a very short. Maybe it is not a top secret that we did not prepare the presentations together, so we did not see each other's presentation. And still, when I was talking about there is a possibility for economically viable solutions, Mr. Pană presented the Detergent Farmacy, which is a live example for that. And after that came Andreas with very good examples from BASF, and also basically confirming my statements that it is technology exists, it is already here, it is not in the future or somewhere in the next century. Money is available, funds are available, and what is necessary to make it a success is to connect somehow the entire value chain, including the consumers, including the policymakers, to make it happen. And this is, I believe, one of the key topics of forums like what we have today. And just the last thing that you may say that we are competitors. Yes, now we are 3 chemical companies sitting around the table. If I were not my association president, but Chimcomplex CEO had. Yeah, 3 chemical companies, in a way or another, we are competing. What I always say that if we want to create a better world, competition is good. Killing each other will not lead very far. So it is something like in the sport that if you swim, all of us, we swim in the same direction. We want to win, we want to be better than one in the other, but we watch to each other, we learn from each other. Sometimes we buy and sell technologies or products from each other, and this is how the entire industry and at the end of the day the society can evolve. So I believe it's partnerships and collaborations, obviously within the frame of appropriate competitive legislation are beneficial. Thank you very much for the opportunity to join you and open to questions.
Și noi vă mulțumim, domnule Tivadar, ca și domnule Andreas Lier. Într-adevăr, tehnologia există pentru a construi lumea viitorului. Mai trebuie voință. Aș completa eu folosind un cuvânt românesc pe care probabil că l-au și celelalte limbi, bunăvoință. Deci care trebuie înțeleasă chiar în sensul său textual, o voință bună. Și am să-l rog și pe domnul Pană dacă dorește să ne comunice ceva către finalul întâlnirii noastre.
Sure, it's a pleasure to intervene again. I liked Mr. Tivadar's Runtag intervention where he said that we haven't prepared the presentations together, and even if we haven't prepared the presentations together, they went in the same direction. So they went towards a future where we have a circular economy, and it is very nice that 3 companies that are totally opposite and at totally different phases in their life have a similar philosophy. What I want to say is that for sure we are not competitors, but most probably we are partners. Just a small thing I want to add that some of the raw materials that we use come from BASF, and that's really nice to be together here.
Thank you.
It is, yeah,
good to hear.
And what we are managing to achieve is that we use better ingredients, better raw materials to make a safer laundry detergent for home use at the moment. But we are managing to sell it at a normal price on the market, as we use a very modern marketing approach where we sell everything directly to the consumer with no intermediaries. So we don't have any distributors included, nothing. We sell everything online, and still in just the first year we managed to go over a turnover of 2 million euros, which is amazing for a startup of 1 year old, not even 1 year old. I thank you for the opportunity to be here with these people of huge experience and to share our thoughts as a young startup in the chemical industry.
Cool. So we had just yesterday a startup event. Would have been nice to have seen you there.
It will be a pleasure, perhaps in the next phase.
We will have more rounds, yes.
Yeah, the next
round. It was
round.
our innovation hub. Yeah, we had a lot of good applications, and so we need to connect with small companies, with startups, because from you guys, a lot of new ideas are coming. Yeah, and you are working. We are very entrepreneurial, and we need this. And as said, the solution or the necessity to find new ways for solutions was never bigger than now. With the Green Deal and the climate change, we have so many challenges at the same time. Digitalization at our plate, so we have to work together. And yeah, with Chimcomplex. Chimcomplex is a customer of BASF, but we are also a competitor, and we know what and how to exchange, of course, because there are rules, and we are working according to this. Yeah, and that's important that we are pulling for the overarching topics in the same direction. Yeah, where we can do this. Yeah.
Maybe really just a last word for this, that indeed working together, partners, competitors, related service companies, we can create a platform that will show a clear direction for Romania. And I just want to repeat an earlier thought that if we have this platform, if we have this clear direction, and the priorities well defined, it will give the tool for the policymakers who represent Romania also in European or global forums to have access to the necessary financial and other resources that are needed. This country is so rich in natural resources, as Mr. Alex Andreescu mentioned: crude oil, natural gas, salt, wind, water, everything is available, and still we are exporting chemical products at the value of 1.7 billion euro, and we are importing in more than 7 billion euros. So it means that the level of processing is very, very low. Together, we can improve a lot on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tivadar. And that's a good chance now. I mean, the country is very rich of fossils. Yes, they will be replaced at a certain time by green hydrogen, by renewables. But this transition can only succeed if our energy and industry remain strong. So there will be a certain period, and we all know this, that coal has most probably a worse footprint than other, like gas or so on. Yeah. So I mean, this transition can happen here in Romania, and of course, also investing into green hydrogen, into green energies, and having the grids then available is quite important. And if now So we are talking about almost 30 billion euro, yeah. And I looked into the currently preliminary setup of the resilience recovery funds. We believe there need to be a significant bigger part for green energy available to make it available in future, in order to guarantee that there will be sufficient green energy in future available to have this electrification of the industry. And just think about, I mean, I explained it a bit. What does this mean with our steam cracker? If one is having a refinery, I mean, to electrify a refinery is a very complicated process, or electrify chem complex is a very complicated process. It will not happen from today to tomorrow. So means if we want to ensure that Europe will continue to be an industrial country, an industrial place, we need the sufficient support for this understanding of all policymakers, all in these networks, yeah, in order to understand that this is a significant giant task what we have to do now, yeah. It's a big task. It will not fall from the sky.
Mulțumim, domnule Tivadar. Mai doriți să mai spuneți?
We are looking forward to work with all partners, and many thanks for the possibility to join. I was already about to cancel this meeting as I could not dial in, but you were somehow make this possible. And with my computer, I can still not connect. I don't know what's wrong. Usually I can connect. Now I'm doing this with my phone. Yeah.
Acestea fiind spuse, consider că ultimele cuvinte pot fi preluate drept concluzia dezbaterilor, a prezentărilor de astăzi, pentru că n-au fost dezbateri propriu-zise, și o să-mi permit să închei cu un cuvânt pe care l-a spus cândva Cicero, marele orator roman. Spunea el, not numero sed pondere. Nu numărul, ci greutatea celor spuse. N-au fost foarte mulți vorbitori, numai 3 la număr, dar toate cele spuse au fost de extremă actualitate, extrem de importante de a fi preluate, gândite și construit niște proiecte, niște strategii. Cuvântul sună poate ne la locul lui. S-au făcut multe strategii, dintre care în România, dintre care puține au ajuns să fie și duse la îndeplinire, dar fără o gândire planificată în perspectivă nu se poate construi nimic. Și cred că industria românească, economia românească, industria chimică din România, pe care într-un fel sau altul ați reprezentat-o aici, are un viitor, chiar în condițiile în care mergem către o lume nepoluată, către o planetă care să fie curată și locuibilă pentru milioane și milioane de ani. Cu aceasta, încă o dată, mulțumesc domnule Andreas Lier, mulțumesc domnule Ilie Pană, mulțumesc domnule Tivadar, și legat de domnul Pană, sunt și firme mici, dar cu o inimă mare, și până la urmă și firmele foarte mari au fost cândva firme mai mici și au crescut atunci când au fost conduse cu inteligență și cu multă aplecare spre nou și spre perspectivă. Vă urez tuturor o seară frumoasă și sper că n-a fost o întâlnire tocmai dificilă, chiar dacă au existat anumite inadvertențe tehnice, dar tehnologia, oricât ar fi de avansată, nu reușește niciodată să țină pasul cu preocupările și cu dorințele noastre. Încă o dată vă mulțumesc și o seară frumoasă.
Mulțumesc mult!
Mulțumim frumos! La revedere! Mulțumesc.
La revedere! La revedere!
Media Uno Media Group and the Romanian National Institute of Statistics are organizing, during 1 to 12 November 2021, in Bucharest and online, the conference Building the Post-Pandemic World, the Path to a More Sustainable, Resilient and Safe Society. Be part of the action and join the almost 500 speakers from 20 countries who will focus on discussions and exchange of experience for building the post-pandemic life.
INCDT Combodi is Romania's unique R&D institute for gas turbines, dedicated to aerospace with application in the energy field. With more than 20 years of scientific proficiency, the Institute specializes in scientific research, design, testing, and production of innovative and sustainable equipment, such as aviation gas turbines, high-speed bladed machinery, and compressing equipment for natural gas market, focusing on consumption reduction and environmental protection. Working in accordance with a certified quality assurance system, Combodi proves its local and international proficiency through a significant number of international awards, involvement in high enterprise European framework programs, and numerous partnerships with companies such as Safran Group, MT Aerospace, Pratt & Whitney, Onera, DLR, GHH Rand, Man Diesel, and Turbo. The Institute seeks for new partners in the aerospace field, energy market focusing on gas extraction and transportation, and machine engineering industry. Combodi Institute, experienced partner for innovative and reliable solutions.
Pentru ca totul să se anime, este nevoie de suflet sau de energie. Noi am ales să transportăm țițeiul la rafinării, sufletul pământului. Să dăm României energia de a merge mai departe. Păstrăm tradiția de peste 100 de ani și privim viitorul ca pe o promisiune față de generațiile următoare. Conpet, tradiție, suflet, energie.
Împreună, punem binele în lumină. Când pornim la drum fără să-l poluăm, sau când păstrăm confortul de acasă cu o soluție de încălzire care luptă cu încălzirea globală, când ne luăm energia doar de la apă, vânt și soare, sau când ne redescoperim țara prin turism verde, pe drumul care unește. Cu fiecare alegere mică avem grijă de casa noastră mai mare. Iar noi îți aducem soluții inovatoare de energie pentru un viitor nelimitat de verde. Susținut deja de peste 3 milioane de clienți. E.ON, ne străduim să-ți fie bine.
Transgaz, o companie responsabilă, o companie a viitorului.
Da, de la bancă, să-mi actualizez datele că altfel îmi șterg conturile? Da, numărul cardului, data de expirare, bun.
Fără să știe, Daniel a fost victima unui atac de phishing. Mailul nu era de la bancă, iar acum contul lui e gol. Banca nu cere datele cardului, studiază linkurile suspecte și nu da click, nu ceda la presiune. Intră pe siguranțaonline.ro și află cum te protejezi de fraude cibernetice. O campanie inițiată de Poliția Română, Directoratul Național de Securitate Cibernetică și Asociația Română a Băncilor.
Verificați cu atenție orice propunere de plată online. Nu accesați linkuri trimise de necunoscuți. Nu furnizați datele de pe card. Ele nu se folosesc pentru a primi bani. Raportați orice tentativă de fraudă.
Complexul energetic Oltenia garantează de 40 de ani siguranța sistemului energetic național. Pentru că vântul nu bate în fiecare zi, debitul apelor scade în arșița soarelui și nici soarele nu strălucește tot timpul pe cer. În schimb, cărbunele complexului energetic Oltenia mai poate furniza energie României încă 40 de ani de acum înainte. Și asta doar cu rezervele descoperite până în prezent.
Complexul energetic Oltenia. Energia pământului românesc.
Așa începe o poveste despre curaj. Medicina extraordinară începe cu tine. Regina Maria, ești mai puternic decât crezi.
Had emails stating that our account had been taken for ransom. They were threatening to delete all of the content, to take the name if we did not respond and pay a ransom within 2 hours. The ransom they were asking for was $900. At the time, I very much considered paying it, but at the same time, my husband was looking online and was reading a couple of scenarios where this had happened to somebody else, they paid it and they didn't receive their account back. So I realized very quickly, don't interact. It was devastating to see our account disappear. Not only was that 8 years of work, but it was also the history of our business. We created the new account and then I went on to my personal account and I recorded a 2-minute video, very briefly telling people what had happened. When I woke up the next morning, that video had been viewed 25,000 times and everybody shared the page. Within 24 hours, we had built up a following of over 25,000. It was like somebody came in, burnt out my business, and then the community came together and built it up the next day. It was absolutely incredible. The advice I would give to people is always think before you click, no matter how legitimate something looks. It was devastating to see our account disappear. Not only was that 8 years of work, but it was also the history of our business. I was aware that hacking was becoming more and more prominent. I didn't expect that it would happen to me. The advice I would give to people is always think before you click. No matter how legitimate something looks, make sure that you click on the sender email. I would also say make sure that you put two-step authentication on everything. Make sure to use a unique and strong password for each account. Keep them different and use a password manager where you can. As well as reporting to your social media provider or wherever the hacking incident has occurred, you should also report it to the local authorities, because the more these things are reported and the more awareness that is out there of what is happening, the more education is going to be put in place on how to prevent it.
Vacanța Bibi îți dă de veste, vacanța Bibi din poveste, vacanța Bibi la munte și la mare, vacanța Bibi cea mai tare, vacanța Bibi, vacanța Bibi, vacanța Bibi, vacanța Bibi.
I gave my device to a friend I thought I could trust. And the next day, when I opened up my laptop, romantic music started playing and a pop-up window appeared. It was offering me a cheap upgrade for a service I regularly use. On the pop-up window, there was personal information being shown. One of that was my debit card information, which was frightening to even imagine that someone had access to my debit card information. I was thinking this is something suspicious, so I was gonna close the pop-up window, but it didn't allow me to close the pop-up window. And that was the moment I knew I got hacked. After I got hacked, the steps I took were immediate. On the pop-up window, there was personal information being shown. One of that was my debit card information. After I got hacked, the steps I took were immediate. I changed my password. I contacted the service providers. I did change my debit card. It is reassuring to have a new debit card which is more safe and more secure. And I also set up a new Wi-Fi system so that the default password and the name can be changed. You shouldn't share your devices with other people.